an article that I just read in Bloomberg, of all places. Bloomberg, the financial magazine, just did an interesting article about the hidden and not so hidden costs of Brazilian butt lifts. So we're going to talk about big booties today and fake booties today, but we're going to talk about it from an economic standpoint and from a health standpoint. So get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black wealth and Black economics every single day, sometimes as much as 10 times a day, under one condition. The condition is that we are B1. You see that on my shirt? B1 means that we are Black first. Black first means we put our community at the top of our priority list. Black first means that we take care of our kids. Black first means we don't continue generational curses. We actually break them. Black first means that we are planning to be wealthy, and we're going to leave wealth, and we're going to also leave education for our young people so that Black people can be great again. If you agree with that philosophy, if you want us to be great, if you want our people to win, type hashtag B and the number 1 in the chat. You ain't got to be Black to be here. So if you're not Black, don't think that we hate you, but we really love ourselves. So if you're cool with that, if that works for you, then put a hashtag B1 in the chat. Hey, Rothy and Kevin and 63 Impala Rag Dude and Gerald Rogers and Yahweh 305. All right, so you might be wondering, well, why is Boyce talking about booties? I mean, I'm a Black man. I like curves on a woman. I mean, that's always been like a wonderful thing. But I read this article. I ran across this article in Bloomberg today, and it's the title of the article is "How the Brazilian Butt Lift Became One of the Deadliest Cosmetic Surgeries." That's the title of the article. You can feel free to read it yourself. It's by Fiona Rutherford. Now, here's the deal. Look, I'm not here to tell people whether they should or shouldn't get a BBL. I think that's a personal choice. That's totally up to you. I'm talking about this content for two reasons. One, I really, really, really care about Black women. I care about Black health, and I care about knowledge and the sharing of information so that you just know what you're getting into. The worst thing in the world that I feel so bad about is when I see some poor lady who got her leg amputated because her BBL went bad and she didn't know what she was getting into. Maybe her self-esteem challenges caused her to feel that she wasn't worthy without having, a big badonkadonk attached to her body. And as a man, we have to take some responsibility for that because men do react differently to booties based on the size. That's a real thing. It's blaming on God and our primitive instincts. That's just how men can be, and I get that. But the other reason I'm talking about it, too, is because BBLs are not cheap. According to this article in Bloomberg, a Brazilian butt lift, a.k.a. a BBL, the average cost is at least $4,830 or something like that. And that does not include the cost of the anesthesia, the operating room, and all related expenses. Now, give me a yes or no in the chat. Let me ask you this, yes or no. How many of y'all know somebody who's gotten a BBL, bad or good? Give me a yes or no if you know somebody who's gotten one or if you've gotten one yourself. Put a yes or no in the chat because they're becoming very popular. In 2020, there were about 40,000 BBLs performed in the United States. And what really got me interested in this piece from a health standpoint is that y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. We're not going to go pay white people's prices. We're not going to go to the medical center and get it done. You know what people do. They get on a plane and they go down to Brazil or they go down somewhere else. And when I was in Colombia, in fact, I was really, really kind of just stunned by how many women had the BBLs. You see a 60-year-old lady with a booty like Beyonce, and I'm like, how did that 60-year-old lady get, who'd you steal that booty from? And then I wonder little stupid things like it. And so if you really sit down really hard, could that thing pop? Like, what's going to happen with that? Is that durable? And so little things like that go through your mind, right? And the thing is that you also know that there are people who get the practice done in a manner that is not regulated. And one of the things that I read in this article that really would fascinate you is not only is there a huge financial cost to getting the procedure done, but also the health risks we know are pretty big, and they're probably greater than what you think. So a lot of us, for example, would know not to, go get a BBL done at your friend's house, when y'all just getting drunk one night and somebody decided to put cement in your booty or whatever, or jello or whatever they put in each other's butts, right? You know that's bad. You can get hurt that way. But even when you go see an actual licensed physician, did y'all know that even that's risky? I didn't even know this, but according to Bloomberg, I'm going to just read some of this to you. So they start off the article in Bloomberg with a story about a woman named Chelsea who was 29, who got the procedure done, who ended up having a bad procedure done, and terrible things happened to her body. The skin around her thighs turned black, hardened, and blistered. The burning sensation was so intense that she could not breathe. And she said, I was hoping to do a mommy makeover and it turned into a complete nightmare, said Chelsea, who did not use her last name for fear of hurting her career prospects. Before the surgery, she was studying to become a nurse. These days, she can't sit down without a burning sensation. But they said the Brazilian butt lift is among the most dangerous aesthetic procedures. I didn't know it was one among the most dangerous. How many of y'all knew that? I don't know if y'all knew it was one of the most dangerous. In 2017, it had the highest death rate of any cosmetic surgery in the United States, according to the group leading clinical practice surgery societies. Patients have been left paralyzed as a result of the surgery or experienced long-term pain due to nerve damage. A task force that looked into the high death rate with Brazilian butt lifts found that about 3% of surgeons had experienced a patient death after the procedure. Despite this, as curvy celebrity influencers like the Kardashians fill social media feeds, people watch social media. My wife is a therapist. She's a couples therapist. And one of the things that she talks about is that social media makes girls feel really bad about themselves. You get online and you say something really smart because you actually have a brain and you went to law school or something, and then you get like 2 likes and 1 share on your comment, and some girl who has nothing in her brain, or at least nothing that she's sharing, literally just shows her booty, and next thing you know, she's got 100,000 salivating men that are following her online. I can only imagine how terrible that must feel. And on behalf of all the ignorant fools that are out here in this world that fall for a big butt and a smile, I want to apologize to those women. I want to encourage men to be conscious of that. Be conscious of it. I'm not blaming you if you like a beautiful woman. We all do. But also, I would encourage you to expand your definition of what beauty looks like. Let me just tell you, my wife has curves, and that was one of the first things I noticed about her. I said, when I met you, first thing I noticed about you was how pretty you were. Second thing I noticed was your beautiful smile. Third thing I noticed was how sweet and kind you were. And I didn't even know how smart you were at the time. But then I saw your curves, and at that point, I was in love. And then later on, I found out how brilliant she was because she wasn't a professor at that time. So men kind of operate in a funny way. We just do. I can't apologize for that entirely. But what I can say is that there is a point where, as a man, you can choose to operate on a higher frequency. Right, you can acknowledge that you do like some of the physical stuff, but it's not all about the physical. That'll get you in trouble. You'll end up marrying somebody who takes all your money. Look at Antoine Walker. He lost millions of dollars to Evelyn Lozada because all he could focus on was the superficial, what she looked like, instead of seeing what she really looked like, which is the soul, the character. What kind of person are you dealing with? So I would encourage men to make a conscious effort when you see that sister online who is leading with her brain and not her booty. Just hit the like button, make a little comment, throw in a little fire emoji, tell her, make a little note to say, hey, I appreciate what you had to say, because those are the women that are going to hold it down for the community, not the ladies who just show their booties on Instagram. No disrespect if you're in that category, but y'all know what it is. All right. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Let me keep reading this article. And by the way, you guys know that if you go to boycewatkins.com, you can actually find out about the event we're doing on the 29th with Herb Strather in Detroit. It's the Black Wealth Builder Summit. So it's going to happen on the 29th of July. So if you'd like to go and join us, which I recommend, it's going to be a great event, feel free to go to boycewatkins.com. The link is right there. All right. So they said that despite this, as curvy celebrity influencers like the Kardashians fill social media feeds, Brazilian butt lifts have only grown more popular. Globally, butt augmentation, including silicone implants, was a $1.5 billion market in 2020, according to Grand View Research, which projects that the market will grow 22% per year and reach $6.6 billion by 2028. So everybody going to be walking around with fake booties. Going to have men, women, children, little 5-year-olds with big badonkadonks. Like they're going to, because they're going to try to find some way to get everybody to get a butt lift. I'm not doing none of that stuff. Just for the record, I like natural things. I don't like things that are made in a factory. All right. So anyway, according now, here's what's interesting. This is what really got my attention. So they were saying that the alarming number of problems with Brazilian butt lifts is largely the result of lacking regulations. While plastic and cosmetic surgery may sound synonymous, they are not. Cosmetic surgery is not plastic surgery. Cosmetic surgery is not plastic surgery. Let me say it again. Cosmetic surgery is not plastic surgery. A BBL is regulated under the laws of cosmetic surgery. Plastic surgery is a different area. To be certified in plastic surgery, when you say you are board certified in plastic surgery, that means you spent 6 years in training That means you've done a lot of procedures. You had to pass a lot of big tests. My sister's board certified as a pathologist, and I remember her studying for years to pass all those exams. Cosmetic surgery, on the other hand, oh, you can get that shit quickly. You can get that in a few months. It does not have the same level of rigor as plastic surgery. So a person can go into cosmetic surgery. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm not a medical doctor. And this is the reason I'm sharing this information, because I care about you. And I'm not judging whether or not you want to get a BBL or not. I'm just telling you what to be careful about. I got this sense that cosmetic surgery is seen by a lot of medical doctors as it's like a very bastardized form of medicine, that it ain't the same as being a real doctor that can do real surgery and know all the nuances that come with being a full-fledged surgeon. If you are in cosmetic surgery, I apologize if I hurt your feelings, but you have to take it up with your profession. So let me keep reading here. Hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. All right, so they said after a couple, so the alarming number of problems exist because of lack of regulations. While plastic and cosmetic surgery may sound synonymous, they are not. Across the U.S., a couple of months of training can earn doctors the right to call themselves a cosmetic surgeon. So across the U.S., you can do a 2-3 months of training and be a cosmetic surgery. I don't want anybody doing surgery on my body if you ain't been up in somebody's medical school for at least 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. I need to know that you spent all the 90s in school for you to be opening up anything on my body, because my body is a beautiful, complex phenomenon designed by God, and you can't understand all of this if you only been studying for 2 or 3 months. Now, on the other hand, while cosmetic surgeons can get their credentials very quickly, plastic surgeons certified by the American Board of Plastic Surgery require at least 6 years of specialized training. That's the training you get after you finish college, after you finish your master's degree, maybe even after you finish medical school in some cases. That means you go to college, then you do an internship, then you do medical school, then you do another 4, 5, 6, 7 years. This is the level of detail. So there's a big difference there. They said practicing medicine requires a license issued individually by each state, but requirements are murkier when it comes to medical specialties. The federal government does not oversee the training and credentialing of specialists. Instead, the American Council on Graduate Medical Education provides standards for graduate medical training in all specialties. After graduating from specialty-specific residency training, independent nonprofit organizations called specialty boards provide multi-year residencies or fellowships for doctors who want to demonstrate their competence in a particular field of medicine. Board certification can get a physician hospital privileges and credibility. Still, it is entirely a voluntary process. To further complicate matters, not all boards are created equal. Some boards have rigor, some boards do not. So they said the American Board of Medical Specialties, widely accepted as the gold standard in physician certification, recognizes only 24 boards as meeting the criteria for specialty medicine. One of these boards includes the American Board of Plastic Surgery, which requires its doctors to undergo robust training and perform thousands of surgeries over the course of 6 or more years before they are granted certification. But there are plenty of boards that don't meet the AMB's nationally recognized standards. The American Board of Cosmetic Surgery, for example, allows doctors to market themselves as board-certified cosmetic surgeons after a 1-year fellowship that includes performing a minimum of 300 aesthetic procedures and passing a 2-day exam. The American Board of Cosmetic Surgery did not respond for a request to comment on this story. I bet y'all didn't. Y'all got to explain them dead bodies that are happening on your watch. I'm not saying that the whole profession's whack. I'm saying just be careful. Y'all remember Kanye's mama, Donda, I'm not trying to talk about Donda. I'm not talking bad at all about her. I mean, it breaks my heart. But Kanye, the poor guy, ain't been right since he lost his mama. And how did he lose his mama? Well, you know what the story was. She went and got that procedure. So the doctor who performed surgery on Chelsea, so the Chelsea lady that they talked about in the beginning, whose legs started blackening and she has all this nerve damage. The doctor was not a board certified plastic surgeon. Quote, you can pay $50 to have a plaque on your wall to say you're board certified, says Susan Witt, a medical malpractice attorney representing several women who have experienced the worst side of this issue in Georgia. Y'all know ATL, the home of the big booty, including Chelsea, who went to Georgia seeking surgery from an Instagram famous doctor. Let's be clear here. Let's be clear. Just because somebody's popping on Instagram, that does not make them an expert at anything other than knowing how to get popping on Instagram. That is all they are an expert at. They can only teach you most of the time how to build a big Instagram page. If you want to believe that they can teach you anything else, you need to go check the credentials. And for anybody who wants to know, My doctorate was from The Ohio State University. My chairman was Professor Andrew Caroli, who is at Cornell University right now. You can Google search my dissertation and go read it right now for yourself. And a doctor being Instagram famous does not make him a good doctor. It makes him an Instagram famous doctor. So it says, often patients shopping for doctors simply don't know these physicians have minimal surgical training. This blind spot is part of what makes the Brazilian butt lift so dangerous. It can result in severe health problems and even death if an unskilled physician uses improper techniques. For example, if fat is mistakenly injected into the wrong place, then it can travel to the person's heart or lungs, which causes immediate death. I don't know about y'all, but this is kind of freaking me out a little bit. I haven't even read this far in the article. I'm learning with the rest of you. So if you see me react, it's because I'm really reacting to what I'm just seeing here. Chelsea experienced something called fat necrosis after her procedure. Necro is like dead, right? So something died inside her. Is that what that is? All right, let me block somebody out of here. I got one of the spammers in here, so let me get that spammer out of here. By the way, there are spammers that pretend to be me. If I ever am sending you personalized Facebook messages and stuff, or you see me on YouTube hitting you up and saying inbox me, or here's my WhatsApp number, please ignore that. Though that's a scammer in some other country pretending to be me, and there's like so many of them I can't stop them all. So just keep that in mind. All right. So Chelsea had fat necrosis. I know the word necro doesn't relate to death. After her procedure, oxygen flow to some of her body's tissues became restricted, causing her cells to die. Fat necrosis is one of the more serious things that can go wrong with a Brazilian butt lift. It is usually caused by poor technique on the surgeon's part. It's not only the credentials of cosmetic surgeons that aren't regulated. In some states, doctors are free to perform surgery in any office setting, whether or not the facility is equipped to handle complications should they arise. And doctors without good credentials are likely to be prevented from performing cosmetic surgeries in establishments with stringent vetting processes like hospitals. Years ago, I got a phone call. I did a story. I used to write for AOL Black Voices. By 2009, I got this email. I'd written a story about Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor, the football player, had gotten caught up in a situation with an underage hooker or something. And I got an email from a lady who basically convinced me pretty thoroughly that a lot of it was a setup. That she told me about this whole underground world that I wasn't even aware of women going around and putting date rape drugs in men's drinks and setting them up. Like, you know, this is why guys got to be careful. There are a lot of predators out here. You think all the predators are men? That's not true. There are women out there that can be predatory too. We have an equal society, so women and men can be equally evil and malicious, if you ask me. So anyway, one of the things that the lady, I asked her, I said, so what do you do? Because I'm suspicious. I'm like, well, how do you know? She's telling me all these sinister stuff these other people are doing. I said, well, how sinister are you? How do you know these people? And she said, I work for a butt doctor. And I said, what? And she said, a butt doctor, like a Brazilian butt doctor. He comes to the country twice a year. And she worked with the strippers. She would go find the strippers that wanted to get big booties. And the Brazilian doctor would meet the strippers with big booties in somebody's apartment and would inject them with whatever they put in the booty. I don't know if it's Jell-O or Kool-Aid or Hamburger Helper. I don't know what it is, right? But they would inject the booties and those strippers would get the bigger butts. And so I think that, and again, I'm not an expert on this, but I get this sense that, especially when you talk about our people where we're always trying to save a buck, you have a lot of these procedures happening in situations that are not safe. Remember, a hospital isn't just a place where you're going to find qualified physicians. A hospital is also a place that is prepared to deal with emergencies in case your body rejects the fat tissue that they have injected into your body. They know what to do. They know how to monitor you and keep you alive. And so I don't know what the situation was with Kanye's mom. Donda died getting that surgery done. And again, I'm not trying to sound like somebody's grandfather, even though I am a grandfather. But I mean, I have to just say, man, I really hate the idea that we get so unhappy with what God gave us that we feel like we have to do these things in order to fit in. But I don't feel like I have the right to judge either, because I don't know what it feels like to be a woman who gets overlooked in exchange for some worthless woman that has a big donk on her butt, right? So I'm not here to judge it, but I am here to say that maybe there are some better ways to kind of handle that other than doing things to your body that might get you killed and definitely will cost you a lot of money. So if it means anything, that is an absolute turnoff for a lot of men. I know a lot of men who don't like plastic fake body parts. In fact, I don't know any men in the chat who don't like fake body parts. I don't want no body parts that were made in a factory. That makes me think about like plastic dolls, like you're a Barbie or like something made by Mattel. Like I don't feel like that's the real you. And it would be like weird for me as a smart man to be walking around with a woman that's got this big gigantic donkadonk that she had implanted in her body and some big old, some boobs sticking out that she also would kind of attach to her. But like it's just weird. Like I wouldn't want that as my spouse, and so I don't know. I mean, but then again, the world is different. Not everybody thinks like me, so I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. Let me keep going here. All right, so it says the Georgia Composite Medical Board currently does not carry out checks of office-based surgeries, but said through a spokesperson that it has taken steps in recent years to improve safety by updating guidelines for physicians. In 2021, the board was given the authority to establish more recommendations for office-based surgery. Guidelines and regulations for office-based surgeries exist in 34 states. For the average consumer, it's difficult to assess whether the doctor has the right board facility accreditations. Opportunistic and underqualified practitioners are capitalizing on this asymmetry of information. So what they're saying is that they take advantage of the fact that you don't know what the hell's going on. That's what they're saying. And also they said here's a quote from a doctor. You've got physicians who can't earn a living doing what they're doing. So they branch out into cosmetics. So a lot of the people that become the cosmetic surgeons, according to this article in Bloomberg, are the doctors who can't actually succeed in a space that is highly regulated, right? They said why? Because it's a cash cow. There's no insurance involved. You want it, you pay for it, said William Rosenblatt, president of the American Association of Accreditation of Ambulatory Surgery Facilities. We see horror stories all the time, said Rosenblatt. While there's a certain amount of risk with any surgery, the rate of Brazilian butt lift fatalities is becoming so alarming that in 2017, several plastic surgery societies joined ranks to create a task force to tackle the issue. They found that part of the standard surgical technique for butt lifts was creating unnecessary risk. Instead of injecting fat into muscle, which can send the fat straight to the heart or lungs, if a vein is mistakenly punctured, they instead recommended injecting the fat into the tissue between the body's skin and the muscle. They also recommended using larger surgical instruments that are less likely to puncture a vein. In light of the recommendations, butt lifts have become less fatal, at least among board-certified plastic surgeons. The most recent survey of certified surgeons showed that the mortality rate for butt lifts dropped from 1 in 15,000 in 2019 to 1 in 3,000 in 2017. But the number of fatalities may be far higher than the number suggests, given that a doctor doesn't need to be a board-certified plastic surgeon to perform a butt lift. And it's unclear whether physicians who aren't would have adopted the new procedures. Doctors don't need to report cosmetic procedures that result in hospital transfers or deaths to these various societies. So y'all know, so what they're saying is that a lot of these underground butt lifts, where this doctor meets you over at your friend Shakita's apartment and just sort of pokes something in your booty, that stuff doesn't count here. Those deaths don't count. Those amputations don't count. Those infections are not counted in this. They're talking about plastic surgery board certified physicians, that death rate. They're not talking about when your cousin's best friend, who was in nursing school for 2 years, has learned how to inject people's butts, right? So at the very least, it seems to me what it's saying here is that if you want to be safe, spend all the money and do it the right way. To me, the safest approach is not injecting things in your body unless you absolutely have to, or having people. My rule is you ain't gonna cut me open unless I really need it. If I don't really need it, I'm not getting cut open for nothing. Not something that's optional, not something that's just there to impress other people. I think that there are other ways to impress the right people without harming your body. But then again, that's just my 2 cents. So I hope this conversation was helpful to you. There's a lot there, and save your money, spend your money on something else. How about we have bigger brains instead of everybody trying to have big booties? I like those people with bigger brains. So I appreciate all of you that want to be smarter and better, and not just get caught up in all the superficial crap that you see on Instagram. I mean, some of that stuff is just stupid. So anyway, guys, all right, I'm out of here. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. I will be in Detroit July 29th through the 31st for the Black Wealth Builder Summit, hosted by Herb Strather and Gary Shelton, 2 guys who are awesome. They've done over $1 billion worth of business deals, so they're guys you should listen to. Also, some of you had asked about our financial flashcards when we ran out of stock. Well, our financial flashcards for children, which are a very, very good way to teach wealth to your kids, they are now available. We just got the shipment in, and we have some available. They're going to sell out fast. Everybody loves them. So feel free to go take a look. We have flashcards for finances, and we have flashcards for entrepreneurship. So feel free to make a stop over at financialflashcards.com. All right, guys, please have a wonderful day. God bless you. And love the body God gave you. You don't need no butt lift. If a man's telling you need to do stuff like that, Get a better man, get a smarter man. Just, but take care of yourself. Find healthier ways to look good. Looking good is valuable, but all that plastic Kardashian nonsense, it's just stupid to me. Look at that picture. Like, I have no respect for that. Look, there's another Kardashian picture that I literally have no respect for that. And I just have to make that clear. I just think that that's tacky as hell. And I think it's really sad that we live in a world where people look up to that nonsense. It makes me sad for those of you that are really trying to be better people. So anyway, have a good day. I'm out of here. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Peace.